Everybody ready?
Ready.
Izzy and Lydia, all set?
Yep.
Door 1, you guys all set? Friends in the audience, just so you know, we don't have our cue lights yet, so occasionally throughout the show, if you hear me shout standing by door and door cues, try to ignore the sound of my voice. I won't be there during the run. Stand by door 2, stand by door 3. Door 2, door 3, go. House is closed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's performance of Measure for Measure. Please take a moment to turn off your cell phones and any other noise-making devices. We please ask you to note the emergency exits to your right and to your left. Sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's performance of Measure for Measure. door 3. Door 3, go. Stand by door 1. Door 1, go.
Escala.
My lord.
Of government, the properties to unfold would seem in me to affect speech and discourse. Since I am put to know that your own science exceeds in that the lists of all advice my strength can give you, and no more remains. So that to your sufficiency as your worth is able, and let them work the nature of our people, our cities, institutions, and the terms for common justice you're as pregnant in, as art and practice hath enriched any that we remember. There's our commission, from which we would not have you warp. Call hither. I say, bid come before us, Angelo. What figure of us think you he will bear? For you must know we have with special soul elected him our absence to supply, lent him our terror, dressed him with our love, and given his deputation all the organs of our own power. What think you of it?
If any in Vienna be of worth to undergo such ample grace and honor, it is Lord Angelo. Look where he comes.
Always obedient to your grace's will. I come to know your pleasure.
Angelo, there is a kind of character in thy life that to the observer doth thy history fully unfold.
En garde. Prêt? Allez. Touche.
Thyself and thy belongings are not thine own so proper as to waste thyself upon thy virtues, they on thee.
En garde. Prêt? Allez. Touche.
Heaven doth with us, as we with torches do. Not light them for themselves. Hold therefore, Angelo. In our remove, be thou at full ourself. Mortality and mercy in Vienna live in thy tongue and heart. Dear Escala, The first in question is thy secondary. Take thy commissions.
Now, good my lord, let there be some more test made of my mettle, before so noble and so great a figure be stamped upon.
No more evasion. We have with a leavened and prepared choice proceeded to you, therefore take your arms. My haste from hence is of so quick condition that it prefers itself, and leaves unquestioned matters of needful value. We shall write to you, as time and our concerning shall importune how it goes with us, and do look to know what doth befall you here. So fare you well. To the hopeful execution do I leave you of your commissions.
Yet give leave, that we may bring you something on the way.
My haste may not admit it, nor need you on mine honor have to do with any scruple. Your scope is as mine own. So to enforce or qualify the laws to your soul seems good. Give me your hand. I'll privily away. I love the people, but do not like to stage me to their eyes.
The heavens give safety to your purposes.
Lead forth and bring you back in happiness.
I thank you. Fare you well.
I shall desire you, sir, to give me leave to have free speech with you. And it concerns me to look into the bottom of my place. A power I have, but of what strength and nature I am not yet instructed.
'Tis so with me. Let us withdraw together, and we may soon our satisfaction have touching that point.
I wait for you.
If the Duke with the other dukes comes not to composition with the King of Hungary, why then all the dukes fall upon the king.
Heaven grant us its peace, but not the King of Hungary's.
Thou concludest like a sanctimonious pirate that went to sea with the 10 Commandments, but scraped one out of the tablet.
Thou shalt not steal.
Aye, that he raised.
Why, 'twas a commandment to command the captain and all the rest from their functions. They put forth to steal. Well, there went but a pair of shears between us.
I grant, as there may between the lists and the velvet. Thou art the list.
And thou the velvet. Thou art good velvet. Thou art a three-piled piece, I warn thee. I had his leaf be a list of an English courtesy, as be piled as thou art pilled for a French velvet. Do I speak feelingly now?
Indeed. I will, out of thine own confession, learn to begin thy health. But, whilst I live, forget to drink after thee. Oh, behold, behold, where Madam Mitigation comes. I have purchased as many diseases under her roof as come to...
To what, I pray?
Judge.
To $3,000 a year? Aye, and more.
Ah, a French poxmore.
Thou art always figuring diseases in me, but thou art full of error. I am sound.
Yes, sound as things that are hollow. Thy bones are hollow. Impiety has made a feast of thee.
How now? Which of your hips has the most profound sciatica?
that, I'm Brady.
Marry, sir, Claudio. Signor Claudio.
Claudio to prison, 'tis not so.
Nay, but I noticed so. I saw him arrested, saw him carried away, and what's more, within these 3 days, his head to be chopped off.
But after all this fooling, I would not have it so. Art thou sure of this?
I am too sure of it, sir. And it is begetting Madame Giulietta with child.
Believe me, this may be. He promised to meet me 3 hours since, and he was ever precise in promise keeping.
After all, it draws something near to the speech we had to such a purpose. Most of all agreed with the proclamation.
Away, let's go to learn the truth.
But what with the war, what with the sweat, what with poverty, with the gallows, I am custom shrunk. How now? What news, man?
Yonder man is carried to prison.
What's he done?
A woman,
What's his offense?
groping for trouts in a peculiar river.
Is there a maid with child by him?
No, but there is a woman made by him. You have not heard of the proclamation, have you?
What proclamation, man?
All the houses in the suburbs of Vienna must be plucked down.
And what shall become of those in the city?
They shall stand for seed. They had gone down too, but that of a wise burgher put in for them.
But shall all our houses of resort in the suburbs be pulled down?
To the ground, mistress.
Well, here's a change indeed in the Commonwealth. What shall become of me?
Come, fear ye not. Good counselors lack no clients. Though you may change your place, you need not change your trade. I'll be your tapster still. Oh, courage. There will be pity taken on you. You that have worn your eyes almost out in the service.
Stand by door 3.
You will be considered.
Door 3, go.
Here comes Senor Claudio, here with the provost. And there's Madame Juliet.
Fellow, why dost thou show me thus to the world? Bear me to prison where I am committed.
I do it not in evil disposition, but from Lord Angelo by special charge.
Thus can the demigod authority make us pay down for our offense by way of the words of heaven? On whom it will, on whom it will not so. But still 'tis just.
Why, how now, Claudio? Whence comes this restraint?
From too much liberty, my Lucio. Liberty.
What's thy offense, Claudio?
What but to speak of would offend again.
What, is murder?
No.
Lechery?
Call it so.
Away, sir, you must go.
One word, good friend. Lucio, a word with you.
100 if they'll do you any good. Is lechery so looked after?
Thus stands it with me. Upon a true contract, I got possession of Juliet's bed. You know the lady, she is fast my wife. Save that we do the denunciation lack of outward order, this became not too only for propagation of a dower remaining in the coffer for friends, from whom we thought it meet to hide our love till time had made them for us. But chances the stealth of our most mutual entertainment with character too gross is writ on Juliet.
With child, perhaps.
Unhappily even so. And this new deputy now for the Duke, whether it be the fault and glimpse of newness, or whether that the body public be a horse, whereon the governor doth ride, who newly in the seat that it may know he can command, lets it straight feel the spur. Whether the tyranny be in his place or in his eminence that fills it up, I stagger in. This new governor now puts the drowsy and neglected act freshly on me, too surely for a name.
I warrant it is. And thy head stands so tickle on thy shoulders that a milkmaid, if she be in love, may sigh it off. Send after the Duke and appeal to him.
I've done so, but he's nowhere to be found. I prithee, Lucio, do this kind service. This day my sister should the cloister enter, and there receive her approbation. Acquaint her with the danger of my state. Implore her in my voice that she make friends with the strict deputy. Bid herself assay him. I have great hope in that, for in her youth there is a prone and speechless dialect such as move men. Besides, she had prosperous art, which she will play with reason and discourse, and well she can persuade.
Claudio!
I pray she meant. As well for the encouragement of the life, which else would stand under grievous imposition, as for the enjoyment of thy life, who I would be sorry should be thus foolishly lost at a game of tic-tac. I'll to her.
I thank you, good friend Lucio.
Within 2 hours.
Come, officer, away.
No, Holy Father, why I desire thee to give me secret harbor hath a purpose more grave and wrinkled than the aims and ends of burning youth.
May your grace speak of it.
I have delivered to Lord Angelo, a man of stricture and firm abstinence, my absolute power and place here in Vienna, and he supposes me travel to Poland, for so I have shewed it in the common year, and so it is received. We have such strict statutes and most biting laws, the needful bits and curds, the headstrong jades, which for these several years we have let slip. Now, as fond fathers, having bound up the threatening twigs of birch, only to stick it in their children's sight, for terror, not to use in time the rod, becomes more mocked than feared. So our decrees, dead to infliction, to themselves are dead. And liberty plucks justice by the nose. The baby beats the nurse, and quite athwart goes all decorum.
It rested in your grace to unloose this tide of justice when you pleased, and it in you more dreadful would have seemed than in Lord Angelo.
I do fear too dreadful. Sith 'twas my fault to give the people scope, 'twould be my tyranny to strike and gall them for what I bid them do. Therefore, indeed, I have on Angelo imposed the office, who may, in the ambush of my name, strike home, and to behold his sway I will, as 'twere a brother of your order, visit both prince and people. Therefore I prithee, supply me with the habit, and instruct me how I may formally in person bear me like a true friar. More reasons for this action at our more leisure shall I render you, only this one. Lord Angelo is precise, stands at a guard with envy, scarce confesses that his blood flows, or that his appetite is more to bread than stone. Hence shall we see, if power change purpose, would our seamers be.
No farther privileges?
Are not these large enough?
Yes, truly I speak not as desiring more, but rather wishing a more strict restraint upon the sisterhood, the votaries of St. Clair.
Oh, peace be in this place!
Who's that which calls?
It is a man's voice. Gentle Isabella, turn you the key and know his business of him. You may, I may not. You are yet unsworn. When you have vowed, you must not speak with men, but in the presence of the prioress. When you have vowed, if you speak, lying.
You must not speak, or if you show your
You
face.
must not speak, or if you show, I'm sorry. What?
Then
You
if
must not,
speak, you must not show your
th-
face.
then if you speak, you must not show your face. Or, if you show your face, you must not speak.
Hello.
He calls again, I pray you, answer him.
Peace and prosperity. Who is it that calls?
Hail, virgin if you be, as those cheek roses proclaim you are no less. Can you so stead me as bring me to the sight of Isabella, a novice of this place, and the fair sister to her unhappy brother Claudio?
Why her unhappy brother? The rather for I now must make you know I am that Isabella and his sister.
Gentle and fair, your brother kindly greets you. Not to be weary with you, he is in prison.
Woe me for what?
For that which, if myself might please judge, he should receive his punishment in bangs. He hath got his friend with child.
Sir, make me not your story.
'Tis true. I hold you a thing enskied and sainted by your renouncement and immortal spirit, and to be talked with in sincerity, as with a saint.
You do blaspheme the good in mocking me.
Do not believe it. Fewness and truth, 'tis thus. Your brother and his lover have embraced. As those that feed grow full, as blossoming time that from the seedness the bare fallow brings to teeming poison, even so her plenteous womb expresseth his full tilth and husbandry.
Someone with child by him. My cousin Juliet?
Is she your cousin?
Adoptedly, as schoolmates change their names by vain though apt affection.
She is.
Let him marry her.
Well, this is the point. The Duke is very strangely gone from hence. Upon his place and with full line of his authority governs Lord Angelo, a man whose blood is very snowbroth, one who never feels the wanton stings and motions of the sense, but doth rebate and blunt his natural edge with profits of the mind, study and fast. He, to give fear and use to liberty, which have for long run by the hideous law, hath picked out an act, under whose heavy sense your brother's life falls into forfeit. He arrests him on it, and follows close the rigor of the statute to make him an example. All hope is gone unless you have by your fair prayer the power to soften Lord Angelo, and that's my pith of business twixt you and your poor brother.
Doth he so seek his life?
Censured him already, and as I hear, the provost hath a warrant for his execution.
Alas, what poor abilities in me to do him good.
I say the power you have.
My power, alas, I doubt.
Our doubts are traitors, and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing attempt. Go to Lord Angelo, and let him know, when maidens sue, men give like gods, but when they weep and kneel, all their petitions are as freely theirs as they themselves would own them.
I'll see what I can do.
But speedily.
I will about it straight, no longer staying but to send the mother notice of my affair. I humbly thank you. Commend me to my brother. Soon at night I'll send him certain word of my success.
I take my leave of you.
Good sir, adieu.
Table.
Ah.
We must not make a scarecrow of the law, setting it up to fear the birds of prey, and let it keep one shape, till custom make it their perch, and not their terror.
Aye, but yet let us be keen, and rather cut a little than fall and bruise to death. Alas, this gentleman whom I would save had a most noble father. Let but your honor know, whom I believe to be most straight in virtue, that in the working of your own affections, had time cohered with place, or place with wishing, or that the resolute acting of your blood could have attained the effect of your own purpose, whether you had not sometime in your life erred in this point which you now censure him, and pulled the law upon you.
'Tis one thing to be tempted, Escalo, another thing to fall. The jewel that we seek, we stoop and take because we see it. But what we do not see, we tread upon, and never think of it. You may not so extenuate his offense, for I have had such faults, but rather tell me, when I that censure him do so offend, let mine own judgment pattern out my death, and nothing come impartial. He must die.
Be it as your wisdom will.
See that Claudio be executed by 9 tomorrow morning. Bring him his confessor, let him be prepared, for that's the utmost of his pilgrimage.
Come, bring them away. If these be good people in a commonweal that do nothing but use their abuses in common houses, I know no law. Bring them away. How now? What's your name? And what's the matter? If it please your honor, I am the poor Duke's constable, and my name is Elbow. I do lean on justice, sir, and do bring in here before your good honor 2 notorious benefactors. Benefactors. Well, What benefactors are they? Are they not malefactors?
If it please your honor, I know not well what they are, but precise villains they are, that I am sure. And void of all profanation in the world that good Christians ought to have.
This comes off well. Here's a wise officer.
Two. What quality are they of?
Elbow is your name? Why dost thou not speak?
He cannot, sir. He's out at elbow.
What are you, sir?
He, sir, a tapster, sir, parcel bought, one that serves a bad woman, whose house, sir, was, as they say, plucked down in the suburbs, and now she professes a hot house, which I think is a very ill house, too. How know you that? Married by my wife, whom I think detests before heaven and your honor.
How? Thy wife?
I, my lady, my wife, whom I thank heaven is an honest woman.
Dost thou detest her, therefore?
I say, my lady, I will detest myself also, as well as she, that this house, if it not be a bawd's house, it is a pity on her life, for it is a naughty house.
How dost thou know that, constable?
Married by my wife, who, if she had been a woman cardinally given, may have been accused in fornication, adultery, and all uncleanliness there.
By the woman's means?
Aye, my lady, by Mistress Overdone's means. But as she spit in his face, so she defied him.
My lady, if it please your honor, this is not so.
Prove it before these varlets here, thou honorable man, prove it.
Why, she came in great with child, and longing, saving your honor's reverence for stewed prunes, and but having 2 in the dish, as I said, Master Froth here, this very man, having eaten the rest, as I said, and as I say, paying for them very honestly. For as you know, Master Froth, I could not give you 3 pence change.
No, indeed.
Well, very well then. If you be remembered, cracking the stones of these foresaid prunes?
Aye, so I did indeed.
Why, very well then. I tell you that if you be remembered, that such a one and such a one were past cure of the thing you owed of, unless they kept very good diet, as I told you.
All this is true.
Why, very well then.
Come, you are a tedious fool. To the purpose, what was done to Elbow's wife that he hath cause to complain of?
I beseech your worship. Look into good Master Froth, a gentleman, 80 pound a year, whose father died at Hallowmas. What's not at Hallowmas, Master Froth?
All how indeed.
Very good then, I hope here be truths. He, your honor, sitting, as I say, in the lower chair. 'Twas in the back room, where indeed you have the delight to sit, have you not?
I have so, for it is an open room and good for winter.
Very well then, I hope here be truths.
This will last out a night in Russia, when nights are longest there. I'll take my leave, and leave you to the hearing of the cause, hoping you'll find good cause to whip them all.
I think no less. Good morrow to your lordship. Line.
No, sir.
Now, sir, what was done to Elbow's wife once more?
Once? There was nothing done to her.
I beseech your honor, ask me what this man did to my wife.
I beseech your worship. Ask me.
Well, sir, what did this man to her?
Beseech your worship. Look into this good Master Froth, or this gentleman here. Look, good Master Froth, look upon her worship. 'Tis for a good purpose. Doth your worship mark his face?
Aye, sir, very well.
Good. 'Tis for a good purpose. Line.
May I beseech you, mark it well.
May I beseech you, mark it well.
Well, I do so.
Well, I'll be supposed upon a book. His face is the worst thing about him. If his face be the worst thing about him, how could good Master Froth do the constable's wife any harm? I would know that of your worship.
He's in the right. Constable, what say you to it?
First, and like you, the house is a respected house. Next, this is a respected fellow. And his mistress is a respected woman.
By this hand, your worship, his wife is a more respected person than any of us all.
Varlet, thou liest! Thou liest! I respected with her. The time is yet to come that she was ever respected with man, woman, or child.
She was respected with him before he married with her.
O thou caitiff! O thou varlet! O thou wicked Hannibal! I respected with her before I was married with her.
If ever I respected with her, or she with me, let not your worship think me the poor duke's officer. Prove this, thou wicked Hannibal, or I'll have mine action of battery on thee.
Officer, let him continue in his courses till thou knowest what they are.
Mary, I thank your worship for it. Thou seest what's come upon thee now, thou varlet. Thou art to continue now. Thou varlet, thou art to continue.
So, come you hither to me. What trade are you of, sir?
Tapster, a poor widow's tapster.
Your mistress' name?
Mistress Overdone.
Hath she any more than one husband?
9, overdone by the last.
Come you hither to me, Master Froth. Master Froth, I would not have you acquainted with tapsters. They will draw you, Master Froth, and you will hang them. Therefore get you gone, and let me hear no more of you.
I thank your ladyship. For mine own part, I never come into any room in a tap house, but I am drawn in.
Well, no more of it, Master Froth. Fare you well. Come you hither to me. What's your name, Master Tapster?
Pompey.
What else?
Bum, milady.
Troth. And your bum is the greatest thing about you.
Ha!
So that in the beastliest sense, you are Pompey the Great. Pompey, you are partly a bawd. Pompey, howsoever you color it in being a tapster, are you not? Come, tell me true. It shall be the better for you.
Truly, miss, I am a poor fellow that would live.
How would you live, Pompey? By being a bawd? What do you think of the trade, Pompey? Is it a lawful trade?
If the law would allow it.
But the law will not allow it, Pompey, nor it shall not be allowed in Vienna.
Does your worship mean to geld and display all the youth in the city? Truly, in my poor opinion, they'll do it then. If your worship will take order for the drabs and the knaves, you need not fear the bawds.
There are pretty orders beginning, I can tell you. It is but heading and hanging.
If you head and hang all that offend that way but 10 year together, you'll be glad to give out a commission for more heads. Say Pompey told you so.
Hark you! I advise you, let me not find you before me again upon any complaint whatsoever. No, not for dwelling where you do. If I do, Pompey, I shall beat you to your tent and prove a shrewd Caesar to you. In plain dealing, Pompey, I shall have you whipped. So for the time being, Pompey, fare you well.
I thank your worship and your good counsel. But I shall follow it as flesh and fortune shall better determine. Whip me? No, no. Let Carmen whip his jade. The valiant heart is not whipped out of his trade.
Come hither to me, Master Elba. Master Elba, how long have you been in this place of constable?
7 years and a half, lady.
I had thought, by your readiness in the office, you had continued it some time. Fare you well. What's o'clock, think you?
11. Your worship.
I pray you home with me.
I humbly thank you.
It grieves me for the death of Claudio, but there's no remedy.
Lord Angelo is severe.
It is but needful. Mercy is not itself that oft looks so. Pardon is still the nurse of second woe. But yet poor Claudio, there is no remedy. Well, heaven forgive him, and forgive us all. Some rise by sin, and some by virtue fall.
What's the matter, Provost?
Is it your will Claudio shall die tomorrow?
Hast thou not order? Why dost thou ask again?
Lest I might be too rash. Under your good correction, I have seen when after execution, judgment hath repented o'er his doom.
Go to. Let that be mine. Do you your office, or give up your place, and you shall be well spared.
I crave your honor's pardon. But what, sir, shall be done with the groaning Juliet? She's very near her hour.
Dispose of her to some more fitter place, and that with speed. Here is the sister of the man condemned, desires access to you. Hath he a sister?
Aye, sir, a very virtuous maid, and to be shortly of a sisterhood, if not already.
Well, let her be admitted. See you, the fornicators be removed. Let have needful, but not lavish means. There shall be order for it.
God save your honor.
Stay a little while. You're welcome. What's your will?
I am a woeful suitor to your honor. Please let your honor hear me.
Well, what's your suit?
There is a vice that most I do abhor, and most desire should meet the blow of justice, for which I would not plead, but that I must. For which I must not plead, but that I am at war twixt will and will not.
Heaven give thee moving graces. Well, the matter.
I have a brother, is condemned to die. I do beseech you, let it be his fault and not my brother.
Condemn the fault, and not the actor of it. Why, every fault's condemned ere it be done. Mine were the very cipher of a function, to find the faults, whose fine stands in record, and let go by the actor.
Oh, just, but severe law. I had a brother then. Heaven keep your honor.
Keep not over so. To him again, entreat him. Kneel before him, hang upon his gown. You are too cold. If you should need a pin, you could not with more tame a tongue desire it. To him, I say.
Must he needs die?
Made it no remedy.
Yes, but I think that you might pardon him, and neither heaven nor man grieve at the mercy.
I will not do it.
Can you, if you would?
Look, what I will not, that I cannot do.
Might you do it, and do the world no wrong, if so your heart were touched with that remorse, as mine is to him?
He's sentenced. 'Tis too late.
You are too cold.
Too late. Why, no, I that do speak a word may call it back again. Well, believe this. No ceremony that to great ones longs, not the king's crown, nor the deputed sword, the marshal's truncheon, nor the judge's robe become them with one half so good a grace as mercy does. If he had been as you, and you as he, you would have slipped like him. But he like you would not have been so stern.
Pray you be gone.
I would to heaven I had your potency, and you were Isabel. Should it then be thus? No. I would tell what 'twere to be a judge, and what a prisoner.
Touch him, there's the vein.
Your brother is a forfeit of the law, and you but waste your words.
Why, all the souls that were forfeit once. And he that might the vantage best have took, found out the remedy. How would you be if he that is the top of judgment should but judge you as you are? Oh, think on that, and mercy then will breathe within your lips like man new made.
Be content, fair maid. It is the law, not I, condemn your brother. Were he my brother, kinsman, or my son, it should be thus with him. He must die tomorrow.
Tomorrow. But sudden, spare him, spare him. He's not prepared for death. Even for our kitchens we kill the fowl of season. Shall we serve heaven with less respect than we do minister to our gross selves? Good, good, my lord, bethink you. Who is it hath died for this offense? There's many have committed it.
Aye, well said.
The law hath not been dead, though hath slept. Those many had not dared to do that evil, if the first that did the edict infringe had answered for his deed. Now, 'tis awake, takes note of what is done, and like a prophet, looks in a glass that shows what future evils, either new or by remissness new conceived, and so in progress to be hatched and born, are now to have no successive degrees, but ere they live to end.
And show some pity.
I show it most of all when I show justice. Be satisfied. Your brother dies tomorrow. Be content.
So you must be the first that gives this sentence. And he that suffers, oh, it is excellent to have a giant's strength, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant. Could great men thunder as Jove himself does, Jove would never be quiet. For every pelting petty officer would use his heaven for thunder, nothing but thunder. Merciful heaven, thou rather with thy sharp and sulphurous bolt splits the unwedgeable and gnarled oak than the soft myrtle. But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence, like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks afore high heaven, as makes the angels weep, who with our spleens would all themselves laugh mortal.
To him, wench. He will relent. He's coming. I perceive it.
Why do you put these sayings upon me?
We cannot play our brothers with ourselves. Great men may jest with saints, 'tis wit in them, but in the less foul profanation.
Thou art in the right, girl. More of that.
Why dost thou put these sayings upon me?
Because authority, though it err like others, hath yet a kind of medicine in itself that skims the vice of the top. Go to your bosom, knock there, and ask your heart what it doth know that's like my brother's fault. If it confess a natural guiltiness such as is his, let it not sound a thought upon your tongue against my brother's life.
She speaks, and 'tis such sense that my sense breeds with it. Fare you well.
Gentle, my lord, turn back.
I will bethink me. Come again tomorrow.
Poor cannot bribe you. Good, my lord, turn back.
How? Bribe me?
Aye, with such gifts that heaven shall share with you. Not with fond shekels, but with true prayers that shall be up at heaven and enter there ere sunrise. Prayers from preserved maids, from fasting souls, whose minds are dedicate to nothing temporal.
Well, come to me tomorrow.
Go to. 'Tis well. Away.
Heaven keep your honor safe.
Amen. For I am that way going to temptation, where prayers cross.
At what hour tomorrow shall I attend your lordship?
At any time forenoon.
Save your honor.
From thee, even from thy virtue. What's this? What's this? Is this her fault or mine? The tempter or the tempted? Who sins most? Ha? Not she, nor doth she tempt. But it is I, that lying by the violet in the sun do as the carrion does, not as the flower, corrupt with virtuous season. Can it be that modesty may more betray our sense than woman's lightness? Having waste ground enough, shall we desire to raise the sanctuary and pitch our evils there? Oh, fie, fie, fie! What dost thou, or what art thou, Angelo? Dost thou desire her foully for those things that make her good? Oh, let her brother live. Thieves for their robbery have authority when judges steal themselves. What? Do I love her? That I desire to hear her speak again and feast upon her eyes? What is't I dream on? O cunning enemy, that to catch a saint with saints dost bait thy hook. Most dangerous is that temptation that doth goad us on in loving virtue. Never could the strumpet, with all her double vigor, art, and nature, once stir my temper. But this virtuous maid subdues me quite. Even till now, when men were fond, I smiled and wondered how.
Hail to you, Provost. So I think you are.
I am the provost. What's your will, good friar?
Bound by my charity and my blessed order, I am come to visit the afflicted spirits here in the prison. Give me the common right to let me see them and to make me know the nature of their crimes, that I may minister to them accordingly.
I would do more than that if more were needful. Look, here is one. A gentlewoman of mine, who, falling in the flaws of her own youth, hath blistered her report. He's a child. He that got it sentenced, a young man, more fit to do another such offense, than to die for this.
When must he die?
As I do think tomorrow. I have provided for you. Stay a while, and you shall be conducted.
Repent you, fair one, of the sin you carry.
I do, and bear the shame most patiently.
I shall teach you how you shall arraign your conscience and try your penitence, if it be sound or hollowly put on.
I'll gladly learn.
Love you the man that wronged you?
Yes, as I loved the woman that wronged him.
So then your most offenseful act was mutually committed?
Mutually.
Then was your sin of heavier kind than his?
I do confess it and repent it, Father.
'Tis me so, daughter. But lest you do repent, as that the sin hath brought you to this shame, which sorrow is always towards ourselves, not heaven, showing we would not spare heaven as we love it, but as we stand in
I
fear.
do repent me, as it is an evil, and take the shame with joy.
There rest. Your partner, as I hear, must die tomorrow. And I am going with instruction to him. Grace go with you, benedicite.
Must I tomorrow? Oh, injurious love that respites me a life whose very comfort is still a dying horror.
'Tis pity of him.
When I would pray and think, I think and pray to several subjects. Heaven hath my empty words, whilst my invention, hearing not my tongue, anchors on Isabel. Heaven in my mouth, as if I did but only chew his name. And in my heart, a the strong and swelling evil of my conception. The state whereon I studied is like a good thing being often read, grown feared and tedious. Yea, my gravity, wherein let no man hear me, I take pride. Could I with boot change for an idle plume, which the air beats for vain? O place, O form, how often dost thou with thy case, thy habit, wrench off from fools, and tie the wiser souls to thy false seeming? Blood, thou art blood!
My lord,
How now, who's there?
one Isabel, a sister, desires access to you.
Teach her the way. Oh, heavens. Why does my blood thus muster to my heart, making both it unable for itself and dispossessing all my other parts of necessary fitness? Oh, so play the foolish throngs with one that swoons. Come all to help him, and so stop the air by which he should revive. How now, fair maid?
I am come to know your pleasure.
That you might know it would much better please me than to demand what 'tis. Your brother cannot live.
Even so. Heaven keep your honor.
Yet may he live a while, and it may be as long as you or I. Yet he must die.
Under your sentence?
Yea,
When? I beseech you that in his reprieve, longer or shorter, he may be so fitted that his soul sicken not.
ha, fie these filthy vices. It were as good to pardon him that hath from nature stolen a man already made, as to remit their saucy sweetness that do coin heaven's image in stamps that are forbid. 'Tis all as easy, falsely to take away a life true made, as to put metal in restrained means to make a false one.
'Tis set down so in heaven, but not in earth.
Say you so? Then I shall pose you quickly. Which had you rather, that the most just law now took your brother's life, or to redeem him, give up your body to such sweet uncleanness as she that he hath stained?
Sir, believe this. I had rather give my body than my soul.
I talk not of your soul. Answer to this. I, now the voice of the recorded law, pronounce a sentence on your brother. Might there not be a charity in sin to save this brother's life?
Please you to do it. I'll take it as a peril to my soul. It is no sin at all, but charity.
Pleased you to do it at peril of your soul were equal poise of sin and charity.
But I do beg his life. If it be sin, heaven let me bear it. You, granting of my suit, if that be sin, I'll make it my morn prayer to have it added to the faults of mine, and nothing of your answer.
Nay, but hear me. Your sense pursues not mine. Either you are ignorant, or seem so craftily, and that's not good.
Let me be ignorant, and in nothing good, but graciously to know I am no better.
But mark me. To be received plain, I'll speak more gross. Your brother is to die,
So,
and his offense is so, as it appears, accounted to the law upon that pain.
true.
Admit no other way to save his life, but for the sake of question, that you, his sister, finding yourself desired of such a person whose credit with the judge, or own great place, could fetch your brother from the manacles of the all-building law, and that there were no earthly mean to save him, but that you find line.
But that either he must.
But that either you must give up the treasures of your body to this supposed, or else let him suffer. What would you do?
As much for my poor brother as myself. That is were I under the terms of death. The impression of keen whips I'd wear as rubies, and strip myself to death as to a bed that longing have been sick for, ere I'd yield my body up to shame.
Then must your brother die.
And 'twere the cheaper way. Better 'twere a brother died at once, and that sister in redeeming him should die forever.
Were not you, then, as cruel as the sentence that you have slandered so?
Ignominy and ransom and free pardon are of two houses. Lawful mercy is nothing kin to foul redemption.
You seemed of late to make the law a tyrant, and rather prove the sliding of your brother a merriment than a vice.
Pardon me. My lord, it oft falls out. To have what we would have, we speak not what we mean. I something do excuse the thing I hate, for his advantage that I dearly love.
We are all frail.
Else let my brother die. If not a fettery, but only he owe and succeed thy weakness.
Nay, women are frail too.
Aye, as the glasses where they view themselves, which are as easy broke as they make forms. Women, heaven help! Men their creation mar in profiting by them. Nay, call us 10 times frail, for we are soft as our complexions are, and credulous to false prints.
I think it well. And from this testimony of your own sex, since I suppose we are made to be no stronger than faults may shake our frames. Let me be bold. I do arrest your words. Be that you are, that is, a woman. If you be more, you're none. If you be one, as you are well expressed by all external warrants, then show it now, by putting on the destined livery.
I have no tongue but one. Gentle, my lord, let me entreat you speak the former language.
Plainly conceive, I love you.
My brother did love Juliet. You tell me that he shall die for it.
Oh, he shall not, Isabel, if you give me love.
I know your virtue hath a license in't, which seems a little fouler than it is to pluck on others.
Believe me, on mine honor, my words express my purpose.
Little honor to be much believed, and most pernicious purpose seeming. I will proclaim thee, Angelo. Look for it. Sign me a present pardon for my brother, or with an outstretched throat, I'll tell the world aloud what man thou art.
Who will believe thee, Isabel? My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life, my vouch against you, and my place in the state will so your accusation overweigh that you shall stifle in your own report and smell of calumny. I had begun, and now I give my sensual race the rein. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes that banish what they sue for. Redeem thy brother by yielding up thy body to my will. Or else he must not only die the death, but thy unkindness shall his death draw out to lingering sufferance. Answer me tomorrow. Or, by the affection that now guides me most, I'll prove a tyrant to him. As for you, say what you can. My false overweighs your truth.
Should I complain? Did I tell this? Who would believe me? Oh, perilous mouths that bear in them one and the self-same tongue, either of down on 20 bloody blocks. He'd yield them up before his sister should her body stoop to such abhorred pollution. And Isabel lived chaste, and brother died. More than our brother is our chastity. Tell him yet of Angelo's request, and fit his mind to death for his soul's rest.
So then you hope for pardon from Lord Angelo?
Miserable I know that medicine but only hope. I have hope to live and am prepared to die.
Be absolute for death. Either death or life shall thereby be the sweeter. Reason thus with life. If I do lose thee, I do lose a thing that none but fools would keep. A breath thou art, servile to all the skyey influences, where thou keepest hourly afflict. Merely thou art God's fool. For him thou laborest by thy flight to shun, and yet runs toward him still. Friend hast thou none, for thine own vows, which do call thee sire, the mere effusion of thy proper loins, do curse the gout, serpigo, and the rheum, for ending thee no sooner. Thou hast nor youth nor age, but as it were, an after-dinner sleep, dreaming on both, for all thy blessed youth becomes as aged, and doth beg the alms of palsied eld. And when thou art old and rich, thou hast neither heat, affection, limb, nor beauty to make thy riches pleasant. What's yet in this that bears the name of life? Yet in this life lie hid more thous than deaths, yet death we fear. That makes these odds all even.
I humbly thank you. To sue to live, I find I seek to die, and seeking death find life. Let it come on.
Peace, hope, grace, and good company. My business is a word or two with Claudia.
You're very welcome.
Most holy sir, I thank you.
Look, senor, here's your sister. Focus, a word with you. Bring me to hear them speak where I may be concealed.
Now, sister, what's the comfort?
Why, as all comforts are. Most good indeed. Lord Angelo, having affairs to heaven, intends you for his swift ambassador, where you shall be in everlasting leisure. Therefore your best appointment make with speed. Tomorrow you set on.
Is there no remedy?
No, none. But such a remedy as to save a head, to cleave a heart in twain.
But is there any?
Yes, brother, you may live. There is a devilish mercy in the judge. If you'll implore it, that will save your life, but fetter you till death.
Perpetual durance.
Aye, just. Perpetual durance. A restraint though all the world's vastity you had to a determined scope.
But in what nature?
And such a one as you consenting to it would bark your honor from that trunk you bear and leave you naked.
Let me know the point.
I do fear thee, Claudio, and I quake, lest thou a feverish life shouldst entertain, and 6 or 7 winters more respect than a perpetual honor. Darest thou die? The sense of death is most in apprehension, and the poor beetle that we tread upon in corporal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies.
Why giving me this shame? Think I can a resolution fetch from flowery tenderness. If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in my arms.
There spake my brother. There my father's grave did utter forth a voice. Yes, him being cast, he would appear a pond as deep as hell. Dost thou think, Claudio, if I would yield him my virginity, thou mightst be freed?
It cannot be.
Yes, he would give it thee from this rank offense, so to offend him still. This night's the time that I should do what I abhor to name, or else thou diest tomorrow.
Thou shalt not do it.
Oh, were it but my life, I would throw it down for your deliverance as frankly as a pin.
Thanks, dear Isabel.
Be ready, Claudio, for your death tomorrow.
Yes. Has he affections in him that thus can make him bite the law by the nose when he would force it? Sure, it is no sin, nor of the deadly seven it is the least.
Which is the least?
If it were damnable, he being so wise, why would he for the momentary trick be perdurably fined, O Isabella?
What says my brother?
Death is a fearful thing.
And shamed life a hateful
Aye, but to die, and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction and to rot. This sensible warm motion, to become a kneaded clod, and the delighted spirit to bathe in fiery floods, or to reside in thrilling region of thick ribbon ice, or to be imprisoned in viewless winds and thrown with restless violence round about the pendant world, to be worse than worst of those that lawless and uncertain thought can imagine howling. 'Tis too horrible. The weariest and most loath worldly life that age, ache, penury, imprisonment can lay on nature is but a paradise to what we fear of death.
Alas, alas!
Sweet sister, let me live. What sin you do to save a brother's life, nature dispenses with the deed so far that it becomes a virtue.
Beast! O faithless coward! O dishonest wretch! Wilt thou be made a man out of my vice? Is it not a kind of incest to take life from thine own sister's shame? What should I think? Heaven's shield, my mother played my father fair, for such a warped slip of wilderness ne'er issued from his blood. Take my defiance. Die. Perish. Might not my bending down reprieve thee from thy fate it should proceed. I'll pray 1,000 prayers for thy death. No word to save thee.
Nay, hear me, Isabel.
Fie! Thy sin's not accidental, but a trade. Mercy to thee would prove itself a bond. 'Tis best thou diest quickly.
No, hear me, Isabella!
Vouchsafe a word, sister, but one word.
What is your will?
Might you dispense with your leisure, I would by and by have some speech with you. The satisfaction I would require is likewise your own benefit. Son, I have overheard what hath passed between you and your sister. Angelo had never the purpose to corrupt her, only he hath made an essay of her virtue, to practice his judgment out of the disposition of natures. She, having the truth of honor in her, hath made him that gracious denial which he is most glad to receive. I am confessor to Angelo, and I know this to be true. Therefore prepare yourself to death. Do not satisfy your resolution with hopes that are fallible. Tomorrow you must die. Go to your knees and make ready.
Let me ask my sister pardon. I'm so out of love with life that I'll soon to be rid of it.
Hold you there. Fare you well. Provost, a word with you? Leave me a while with the maid. My mind professes, with my habit, no loss shall touch her by my company.
In good time.
The hand that hath made you fair, hath made you good, with grace, being the soul of your complexion, shall keep the body of it ever fair. The assault that Angelo hath made to you, fortune hath conveyed to my understanding, but that frailty hath examples for his falling. I should wonder at Angelo. How will you do to content this substitute and to save your brother?
I am now going to resolve him. I had rather my brother die by law than that my son should be unlawfully born. Oh, how much is the good Duke deceived in Angelo! If ever he return and I can speak with him, I will open my lips in vain or discover his government.
Therefore fasten your ear on my advisings. A remedy has presented itself. You may most uprighteously do a poor wronged maid a merited benefit. Redeem your brother from the angry law, to no stain to your own gracious person. And much please the absent Duke, if peradventure he shall ever return to have hearing of this business.
I have spirit in me to do anything that appears not foul in the truth of my spirit.
Virtue is bold, but goodness never fearful. Have you heard speak of Mariana, the sister of Frederick, the great soldier who miscarried at sea?
I have heard of the lady, and good word left with her name.
She, should this Angelo have married, was affianced to her by oath and the nuptial appointed, between which time of the contract and limit of the solemnity, her brother Frederick was wrecked at sea, having in that perished vessel the dowry of his sister. There she lost a noble and renowned brother. With him, the portion and sinew of her fortune, her marriage dowry. With him, her covenant husband, this well-seeming Angelo.
Can this be so? Would Angelo so leave her?
Left her in tears, and dried not one of them with his comfort. Swallowed his vows whole, pretending in her discoveries of dishonor in few. Bestowed her on her own lamentation, which she yet wears for his sake.
How out of this can she avail?
It is a rupture that you may easily heal, and the cure of it not only saves your brother, but keeps you from dishonor and doom.
Show me how, good father.
Go you to Angelo. If for this night he entreat you to his bed, go you to Angelo. Line.
Answer his requiring.
Answer his requiring with a plausible obedience. Agree with his demands to the point. Only refer yourself to this advantage. First, that your stay with him may not be long, that the time may have all shadow and silence in it, and the place answer to convenience. Line.
This being granted.
This being granted in course, and now follows all. We shall advise this poor maid to set up your appointment. Go in your place. If the encounter acknowledge itself hereafter, it may compel him to her recompense. And here, by this, is your brother saved, the poor Mariana advantaged, your honor untainted, and the corrupt deputy scaled. The maid will I frame and make fit for this attempt. If you think well to carry this as you may, the doubleness of the benefit defends the deceit from reproof. What think you of it?
The image of it gives me content already, and I trust it will grow to a most prosperous perfection.
It lies much in your holding on. Haste you speedily to Angelo. If for this night he entreat you to his bed, give him promise of satisfaction.
Stand by door 3.
I will presently to St. Luke's. There at the moated grange resides this dejected Mariana. At that place, call upon me, that it may be quickly.
Thank you for this comfort. Fare you well, good father.
Door 3, go.
Good my lady! Good my lady! Go! Away with them to prison! Be good to me, your honor is accounted a most merciful church. Good my lady! Double and treble admonition and still forfeit in the same kind. This would make mercy swear and play the tyrant.
A bawd of 11 years continuance, may it please your honor?
My lady, this is one Lucio's information against me. Mistress Kate Keepdown was a child by him in the Duke's time. He promised her marriage. His child's a year and a quarter come Philip and Jacob. I've kept it myself. And look how he goes about to abuse me.
That fellow is a fellow of much license. Let him be good for us. Go away with them to prison.
Go too, no more words.
Oh, heavens, what stuff is here?
Nay, if there be no remedy for it but that you will needs buy and sell men and women like beasts, we shall have all the world drink brown and white bastard. Come here, late sir. Come. Bless you, good father. Friar.
And you, good brother father. What offense has this man made to you, sir?
Marry, sir, he hath offended the law, and we take him to be a thief too, sir. For we have found upon him a strange picklock, which we have sent to the deputy.
Fie, sirrah, a bawd, a wicked bawd. Canst thou believe thy living is a life, so stickingly depending? Go mend, go mend.
Indeed, it does stink in some sort, sir, but yet I would prove that.
Nay, if the devil have given thee proofs for sin, you shall prove his. Take him to prison, officer. Correction and instruction must both work ere this rude beast will profit.
He must be before the deputy Angelo. Lady Escala has given him warning. The deputy cannot abide a whoremaster. If he be a whoremonger and comes before him, he were as good as go a mile on his errand.
That we were all, as some would seem to be, from our faults as faults from seeming free.
His neck will come to your waist. Accord, sir. Come your waist, sir.
I spy comfort. I cry bail. Here is a gentleman and good friend of mine.
Well, how now, noble Pompey? What, at the wheels of Caesar? What sayest thou, Trot? Which is the way? Is it sad in few words? How doth my dear morsel thy mistress procure she still?
Troth, she hath eaten up all her beef, and she was herself in the tub.
Why, it is good. It is the right of it. It must be so. Ever your fresh pour and your powdered bawd. Art going to prison, Pompey?
Yes, faith, sir.
Well, 'tis good. Line.
Farewell, go, say I sent
Farewell. Go. Say I sent thee thither. But for debt, Pompey, or how?
For being a bawd. For being a bawd!
Well, good. If in prison it be the due of a bawd, 'tis his right. Bawd is he doubtless, and of antiquity too. Bawd born. Farewell, trusty Pompey. Pompey, you will turn good husband now. Pompey, you will keep the house. Adieu, trusty Pompey.
Come your waist.
I hope your good worship will be my bail.
No, indeed, will I not. Pompey, I will pray. Line. To increase your bondage. Adieu, trusty Pompey. Bless you, friar. And you.
Come your waist, sir. Come.
You will not fail me then, sir.
Oh, then, Pompey, nor now.
Come your
Adieu,
waist,
Pompey.
sir. Come.
What news, friar? Go to kennel, Pompey. Go. What news abroad, friar?
I know none. Can you tell me of any?
Well, some say the Duke is with the Emperor of Russia. Others some he is in Rome. But where is he, think you?
I know not where, but wheresoever I wish him well.
It was a mad fantastical figure to steal from the state and usurp the beggary he was never born to. Now, Lord Angelo dukes it well in his absence. He puts transgression to it.
He does well in it.
Well, a little more lenity to lechery would do no harm in him. It's something to crab that way, friar.
It is too general a vice, and severity must cure it.
Yes, in good sooth. The vices of a great kindred. It is well allied, but it is impossible to extirpate quite until eating and drinking be put down. They say this Angelo was not made by man and women after this downright way of creation. Is it true, think you? Some say a sea maid spawned him. Others some he was begot between two stock fishes. But it is certain that when he makes urine, when he makes water, his urine is congealed ice. That I know to be true. And he's a motion generative. That's infallible.
You are pleasant, sir, and speak apace.
Why, what a ruthless thing is this in him for the rebellion of a codpiece, to take away the life of a man. Would the Duke that is absent have done this? Ere he would have hanged a man for getting 100 bastards, he'd have paid for the nursing of 1,000. Oh, he knew the service. He knew the sport. Line.
He had some feeling.
He
of the
had
sport.
some feeling of the sport. He knew the service, and that instructed him to mercy.
You do him wrong, surely.
Sir, I was an inward of the Duke's. A shy fellow, and I believe I know the cause of his withdrawing.
What? I pray thee might be the cause.
No, pardon. 'Tis a secret must be locked within the teeth and lips. But I can let you know that the greater file of the subject held the Duke to be wise.
Wise? Why, no question he was.
Oh, very superficial, ignorant, unweighing fellow.
Either this is envying you, folly, or mistaking.
Sir, I know him and I love him.
Love talks with better knowledge, and knowledge with dearer love.
Come, sir, I know what I know.
I can hardly believe that, since you know not what you speak. But if ever the Duke return, as our prayers are, he may. Let me desire you to make your answer forth to him. If it be honest what you spoke, and have courage to maintain it, I am bound to call upon you. And I pray you, your name?
Sir, my name is Lucio, well known to the Duke.
Oh, we shall know you better if I may live to report you.
I fear you not.
Oh. So then you hope the Duke will return no more. Or you imagine me to unhurtful substitute. But indeed, I can do you little harm. You'll forswear this again.
Oh, I'll be hanged first. Friar, thou art deceived in me. But enough of this. Can thou tell if Claudio died tomorrow?
Why should he die, sir?
Why? Not for filling a bottle with a tundish. And would the Duke we talk of were here again, this ungendered agent will unpeople the province with continency. Sparrows must not nest in his house heaps because they are lecherous. The Duke would yet have dark deeds, darkly answered. He would never bring them to light. Would he were returned. This Claudio is condemned for untrussing. I say to thee again, the Duke would eat mutton on Fridays. He's past it now, but, as I said, he would mount with a beggar, though she smelt brown bread and garlic. Say that I said so. Fare you well.
No might or greatness in mortality can censure scape. Back wounding calumny, the whitest virtue strikes. What king so strong can tie the gall up in a slanderous tongue?
Angelo will not be altered. Claudio must die tomorrow. Let him be furnished with divines and have all charitable preparation. If he were wrought by my pity, it should not be so with him.
So please you, this friar hath been with him, and advised him for the entertainment of death.
Good even, good father.
Bliss and goodness on you.
Let me desire to know how you find Claudio prepared. I am made to understand you have lent him visitation.
He professes to have received no sinister measure from his judge, but most humbly humbles himself to the determination of justice. Yet hath he framed himself by the instruction of his frailty many deceiving promises of life, which I, by my good leisure, have discredited to him, and now is he resolved to die.
You have paid the heavens your function, and the prisoner the very debt of your calling. I have labored for the poor gentleman to the extremest shore of my modesty, but my justice Angelo I have found so severe that he hath forced me to tell him he is indeed justice.
If his own life answer the straightness of his proceeding, it shall become him well. Where he chanced to fail, he had sentenced himself.
I thank you for visiting the prisoner. Fare you well.
Peace be with you. He who the sword of heaven will bear should be as holy as severe. Line. Shame to him whose cruel line. Shame to him whose cruel striking kills for faults of his own liking. Twice treble shame on Angelo, to weed my vice and let his grow. Oh, what may man within him hide, though angel on the outward side? Craft against vice I must apply. With Angelo tonight shall lie his old betrothed, but despised. So the disguise, by the disguised, paid with falsehood, false exacting, and perform an old contracting.
Thank you, everyone. 10-minute intermission break.
No, we're gonna have someone on the door in 10. I just don't have enough people at the moment. Yes, babe.
Look at all the highlighting. It's so much fun.
Look at all that.
You're so nice.